My name is Ife Tayo Aldine. I am 24 and here is Chaos or Community. What's next? They asked. Chaos or community? But our communities were built on chaotic moments. A COVID pandemic, so you know our neighborhoods are not only subject to gentrification, Google genocide. Death wished upon me and my family. My father became daddy by dedication, not by design. We've been to hell and back a few times. But when the coronavirus attacked his body, it really attacked my mind. Too many pre-existing conditions to waste time, so I cried. Couldn't imagine my life without both the manic and depressive states to your pose. I haven't told you I love you too enough times. I haven't told you about the miracle you are. Present instead of prison. Surviving subpar health and conditions, surviving alcoholism, surviving as a fatherless black man that must learn how to father. You did it. But why isn't our story just 1 in a million? Why can we still have a million-man march on black disparities in 2020? Why is this COVID-19 pandemic only highlighting a recycled play that we are tired of being cast in? They call us minorities and try to tell us this war is now a class thing. But black disparities, I mean lower class disparities, been making us more susceptible to sickness. Black faces making up 79% of this COVID classroom. Classroom be the new graveyard. Public education been dying slowly, like a low leak, like boiling frogs to their demise. We don't object to dying slowly. Like what came first, the large percentage of blacks with diabetes or slavery? Some people still addicted to scraps like chitterlings. Some people addicted to what's available like fried food, like fast food. It's affordable, like programming. Ooh. Like what came first, the need to escape reality or blacks with lung disease, blacks that abuse substances, cigarettes and trees be old vices, shooting up replace the talk therapy they can't gain access to. Alcohol be the country prescribed psychiatrist. COVID-19 just be another hardship for our testimony. We are still here, educating and enlightening each other, learning to be gracious and grateful to our grocers, nurses and doctors, custodians and first responders, teachers and everyone in between. We are praying the outcome be the incoming of a less chaotic and more light-filled community. Peace.
The first stage of grief is denial. So when COVID-19 first appeared, our government called it China's issue, as if, a contagion was capable of being as nationalist as their asses is. And speaking of our government, we denied that our leaders were ours, as if saying hashtag not my president was enough to vaccinate us against a virus which does not make particular distinction between left or right wing or lung, as if voting no confidence in Captain Clueless makes us anything less than passengers aboard his soon-to-be crashing Titanic, heading straight toward the ice baby. We don't stop, collaborate, or listen. When the CDC tells us to wash our hands, protect yourself, wash your hands, show me social distancing, we look at them like they said something mystical, and when they ask us what we doing, we say, ooh, nothing. Now see, the second phase of grief is anger. So when COVID-19 made its inevitable stateside debut, our fearless leader trumped his previous rhetoric from calling it China's issue to Chinese flu. Meanwhile, when pressured to put people above paper, he said that the solution shouldn't be worse than the problem, while readily recommending untested and questionable quasi-COVID-19 medicines with potentially deadly side effects. But hey, I guess that is one way to get over your sickness, your death. Now see, the third phase of grief is bargaining. So let's make a deal. If I tell you that 2 of the 3 most COVID-19 stricken wards in DC are in Southeast with one poorly run hospital to share between, maybe you can tell me what kind of peeps inhabit these streets. I'll give you a bet. Always bet on black. You know why 6 was scared of 7? Because 7, 8, 9. But COVID-19 is eating ward 7 and 8 alive. Which brings me to the 4th phase, depression. Too exhausted, too exacerbated to assume that this is a war we can win. I assume we've already lost. I assume that COVID-19 has already stricken everyone I come across. And assuming I live long enough to see anything like a vaccine, excuse me if I decline. You see, Drew done got to where he do not do flu shots because I be too Tuskegee to trust easy. It's not that I'm anti-vax. I just know what Henrietta lacks. And I know hella well that this country will take your black magic, bottle it up, and sell it back to you as a cure that your black ass is too poor to afford. But then the fifth and final phase of grief, acceptance. Accept the fact that to our normal we can never go back. Accept the fact that that's nothing to fear. Because see, our normal is what got us here. So maybe COVID can't be cured. Maybe COVID is the cure. COVID. Capitalism only values infinite dollars. COVID, cure our violently intolerable demeanor. COVID, correct our viciously inequitable district. COVID, courageously our voices inspire defiance. COVID, change ourselves. Victory is destined. COVID, come out. Virus is dead.
COVID. In the land of the free and the home of the brave, I'm sure you would think more lives will be saved. But COVID. To date, over 90,000 lives lost. And in COVID, no one has counted the cost of suicide prophesied by the idiot in chief and his belief in being a jerk, prematurely rushing people back to work. No protection is a reflection of screwing the American people raw. If you only saw the black eyes and more due to this media whore, it's not safe. The COVID curve has not flattened, and all the domestic violence that's happened makes it not safe, outside and in. We have to strengthen our communities within so we can all win against COVID.
For my grandfather, who for a month and a half I assumed to be the first black man in my family to die of natural causes. Recently, I learned that he died from COVID-19 after being rejected from 2 local hospitals. My grandfather's organs went silent because they completed their hymnal today. Today, I learned that his organs were muted. Learned that some doctor had enough shrugged shoulder to allow his body to decompose. And just when I think that white doves exist, I am told that another one of my black birds had their wings clipped. It is inhumane to be relieved that your loved one lost fair and square, that the earth swallowed them and did not regurgitate salted blood. But no, I can't even have a candlelight without somebody else's guns, nooses, apathy, or accident showing up unannounced. I can't even have a relative move into their casket without the ringing echo that they were evicted from their bodies. I pause. Death tries me early, holds the gun to my face and tells me it's time to accept my inheritance. It is now that I realize that I live in a country where people believe in the Second Amendment more than second chances. It is now that I realize that we plead for our life with our palms, which is to say that black people beg for our breath with the whitest parts of our bodies. Resume. Doctors assume that just because my pop's a veteran, that his skin is invincible. How come people look at black and see armor but don't see fatigue? How come as soon as we found out that black people were dying more from COVID-19, that it was time to bring the economy back? But that night is locked in my mind. My mother's cries blare like an ambulance that came too late, and I, tombstone quiet, learned apathy early, learned to turn black death into white noise. Because when you're numb to trauma, there's always a dead weight in your walk, always in America eyeing your Achilles. Me trudging through this life is not a product of my sagging pants, though I do carry my father's bones in my back pocket, use daddy's ribs as a switchblade, my grandpa's last breath as a reserve tank, as a spare tire. Because when all you know is death, you learn to stop trying to avoid it and and learn to make yours more meaningful. So this is to the dirt you cannot take from me what I already give up. My promise to the dirt is a full feast. You will have my bones, my meat, and my marrow without the aftertaste of shell casings or supremacy. You will swallow me. A complete answer. My death will be mine.
Hi, my name is Ray Crawford Jr. The piece I'm going to share is entitled Day Whenever. Day whenever it may be, I have found myself upon bended knee, but not able to express my emotions. I am emotional, yet hoping you don't judge me for a lack of gratitude. Grateful but blue. I am trying to pray to you, but remain silent. My rights read on TV screens, CNN, MSNBC, but not outfoxing me. I am locked up mercifully in my own home, quarantined from the world. But today I wept in the closet so the kids could not see me. I wanted to be invisible, like the enemy before us. No irony. My faith is in the unseen. Still it seems I see you in my dreams simply hanging there. Crown of thorns upon the head of my king. You died for me and were resurrected. But Lord, who are they dying for? I am unsure. Are we not protected from our sins? Your intentions masked like unfamiliar faces seen on sidewalks. I step off and cross streets intentionally to distance myself from any that may approach. But as I approach you, I feel distant, indifferent, incapable of comprehending reality at this moment. They say there is no script for this. But statistics insist that the black and brown not simply 6 feet apart, but more often 6 feet underground, blaming our demise on lies about pre-existing conditions, but these conditions make black existence premature, running for our lives but cannot survive the virus that hate made. Race decides the fate of we of darkened hue, and our public prosecution lacks due process. Our healthcare system lacks true options, and I see you and me needing PPE from their assumed supremacy. We still can't breathe. Like our ventilators in disrepair and test kits incomplete, because maybe black folks are the disease and America seeks a remedy. Got me thinking they opening up the economy to rid themselves of me. All this death seems senseless. 100 grand have left the land of the living, and the illegitimacy of those who leave us empty, like their eyes. Windows to their soul are see-through. They cannot see us through because they simply know not what to do. So all I know is to come to you, the all-knowing, sacred Savior. Save us from ourselves. Turn not a deaf ear to this request. Please bless our inadequacy. We who have bore the burden of this broken nation, heal our spirits and remove this plague from amongst us. Make tomorrow better than today, and better still the day after. This chapter, this new normal is nothing but my son says he sees more stars in the sky sometimes, and the air tastes different. The night is lifting, and the silence outside is no longer deafening, more defining of this time, this moment with you alone. For the night is lifting, and day is whenever I am present and together with He. He says I am present, and Lord, we all must believe. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jordan Harris. I'm a senior at Howard University, and this is my submission. You see pandemic, I see the light in the situation. You see quarantine, I see self-reflection and isolation. You may see a horror scene, I see my actions and behaviors clear in the interaction with my neighbors, and that's perspective that I favor. To look and see a world in disarray and still set intentions just to get me through the day. Affirmations of health and gain knowledge to self, putting medicine in my diet, change the way that I see wealth. I say Ashe and rest in peace to the elders buried, while seeking peace and drinking my elderberry. Sea loss and the grief I'm not immune to, but spreading sea moss to the information is communal. In tune with my habits and my cravings while contemplating food deserts placements. Monitoring my mood, been amazing. When I can only go to the living room and get on Zoom, there's no escaping the enemy. My energy, focus on adapting. Sleep schedule, additional napping. Lysol spraying every package, wiping it down like baby drool with a napkin while dancing the savage. The new normal is happening, although it's not what I imagined. My mind clear like traffic. These thoughts meditation extracted. Maybe I've been distracted too much from me in the past. Maybe it's optimistic to make the most while this lasts. But even if I can't stand it, one thing I know is can't panic. Watching verses during stay-home orders and Uber eating stay-home orders. Restructured life and gave my day no order. I'm in my room thinking drink more water and less snacks. There's more than a setback. I think I don't want to go for a walk because I can't eyeball 6 feet. If this reach, someone know that you're strong for even existing through this thing. I could watch the physical off, but keep my mental on par is risky. I'll balance the two and report all the findings through this piece. Thank you.
There's a teenager killing people. And they say if this teenager don't get you, you end up on a ventilator. So people are scared and they got 172 rolls of Costco toilet paper while others pray to the Lord to save their souls like a pair of 84 Jordans. Because there's a teenager, 19, killing people. So I wash my hands and I write poems to my immune system to stay encouraged. And some people don't want to stop. They want to go. All the venues closed, shut down, so no, go. But many still zooming, and parents got gray hairs from homeschooling because there's a teenager killing people. So, and there's so many theories about this teenager. I only listen to Tony Fauci and D Nice, and the president suggested disinfectant. Now that's ignorant. That's so ignorant. It's like promising a blind man sight if he drinks some mumbo sauce. And the only Trump black people mess with is a handful of spades at the cookout. So I'm going to stay in the house and play spades. Although I cannot wait to go outside again and sit across from the park like Josephine Butler. I want to sit in Malcolm X Park and listen to the djembe and eat a banana and watch the dancers move like Josephine Baker, reminiscent of a chocolate city before Corona. But there's some good that's come out of this. My Christian brothers and sisters and my Muslim brothers and sisters, they both wash their hands like they pray 5 times a day. We're coming together. But until there's more testing, I'm going to stay 6 feet away because there's a teenager killing people.
My poem is entitled Trying Times. Want to hear it? Here you go. We're living in trying times where disease crosses vast oceans and affects continents like wildfires out of control. Where rampant fears are compounded by politics and indecisiveness. Where the truth is bended and twisted until it's unrecognizable. Where facts are replaced by opinions steeped in bias and ignorance. We're living in trying times where patience is scoffed at and seen as a weakness, not a virtue. Where the backbone of a government has been broken, leaving states to scramble for resources on their own. Where leadership has abandoned so that blame can be assigned. Where loved ones die alone in isolation rather than surrounded by family and friends. We're living in trying times. Where leaders roll the economic dice with the health of their communities on the line. Where a president breaks his own rules time and time again and entices others to do the same. We're living in trying times where social distancing is stressed despite many living shoulder to shoulder in crowded cities and dwellings all across the nation, where Americans are told to wash their hands, but for some, it's impossible because their city has shut off their water supply. months ago. We're living in trying times where those who dare to tell the truth are muzzled, while their lives and families threatened, where citizens are forced to risk their lives to vote during the peak of the epidemic, where immigrants are vilified and treated inhumanely, despite the fact that they're responsible for harvesting the food on our table. We're living in trying times where 25 million Americans suddenly find themselves without a job and no health care during the greatest health crisis in a century. We're living in trying times where giant corporations are quickly thrown an economic lifeline and common folk are left to tread water for weeks on end. We're living in trying times where disease has exposed the belly of the beast, laying bare the vulnerability of communities stricken by generations of social and economic neglect. We're living in trying times, but what matters most is how will we respond to them.
Auntie, you should put your thoughts on paper.
I did. This is called the Teacher Think Aloud. COVID, I'm tired of watching you do your dance. CDC warned, but they didn't know that politician was your mans. Forget the people. Oh, that's cold, burr. Nah, forget black people. Whoa, that's not a pot you want to stir. It's anything for the stocks. They alright. You can stay home. You should be glad that you can teach in your socks. Admin, so are we still doing 90-minute blocks? Speaking of, who checking for the homies on the block? Now that we out of school, I see we wearing different shoes. Not seeing that street light come on, it's a different level of blues. Teddy bears and Henny when I drop off laptops. But yeah, too much COVID talk is why I'm sick of the news. Bruh, that's more like secondary blues. Engagement here, task force there. Use force, yeah. We can't get at the table and forget. Look around and see who got their food. It's not my kids yet. It's about mental health. No, detective eye. Huh? So co-location is not what people trying to hide? I don't know. COVID. I heard you got plans, but I'm tired of watching you do your dance. Future, mask off, maybe. Right now, save that black baby. Cause brown skin, you know I love your brown skin. Stay home, self-education, talk liberation, leaders going to the people. All that online action is getting old. Put your money where your mouth is. Go to the people, that's liquid gold. It's cool cause that's etiquette. Stop that, flip that, no cap equity. What's that? Where's that king involved in everything at school? Online is crickets, but they worried about if no test scores will mean they boy by August he's a fool. You good, April Fool. April what? DC Emancipation. No, April what? Easter, I mean May. What, Memorial Day? Nah, I'm not thinking holidays. Days off got me thinking of inequities, cricket ways. Forget test scores. Oh no, not for you. They'll make sure you get yours. AP exams, check your calendar on your desk. No, in the basement. Oh, I forgot. Your mom and dad put it in your office. Yeah, they'll be quiet. Pause, wait. Who's going back? Control group? Ha, they tried it. Everything that happens there went everywhere. Slammed, COVID, poetry contest, save lives, that's best. Black Girl, Magic, Davis is classic. Bowser all over my browser switch. Can't win for losing, that's tragic. X that article, new tab teams call the kids. Grief, tears, food desert, Ward 7, yeah. Let me help my peers. COVID is your last dance. All in, what's next? Let's go.
I'm Conscious the MC, and this piece is titled Antidote. I write in this time to creatively overcome viruses invisible in disguise. With spiking numbers, but who trust them? Want you rushing for vaccinations to sterilize an entire nation, for population downsizing. Eyes glued to screens analyzing, trying to decide if it's fact or fiction. Case numbers low in comparison to that of them melanin girls still missing, but where they at though? While government standing at your front door with stimulus checks and needles, I'm like, when they care so much about my people? In a political rat race, we fact chase, and what we find is propaganda. We have no more rights. They don't even read us our Mirandas. So who do I trust here as I stand, devising a plan, wearing a mask, and washing my hands?
Quarantine dream. Spit at a fever pitch. Slight cough, can't tell if it's flu or sinuses. A beautiful day for a pandemic. The streets is full, nobody can seem to handle it. It's all going down right now, this is the turn. Stock market crashed over the super germ. Black Star, we was immune to the NBA. College kids passing out down in MIA. Congress wanna write checks, but money won't change the outcome, cause you can't buy new lungs for the cost of a stimulus package lump sum. Ain't no rocket ship to take you away. A 7-year-old kid got that plague, cause it ain't no game. The Pac-Man ain't even round the way. There's a cold going round outside, no man is safe. Wash your hands before you roll that J. Nah, brother, don't touch your face. It's a quarantine dream. We spit at a fever pitch. First they said China, now we gotta deal with all this. A beautiful day for a pandemic. Social distancing, and we can't seem to manage it. My mom's birthday was Monday, I couldn't give her a hug. Folks protesting over masks like they stronger than the bug. But this bug will have you crying over someone that you love. So, what's up? 45 downplayed it, being racist as always. His whole cabinet done caught it while they walk in the hallways. Crowding around the mics, high-fiving and handshakes. Pushing to open salons, churches, risking the black rates. Sunday services praying, trying to get this to go away. But hey, no zombie. But we are the walking dead. May not be sick in the throat, but you sick in the head. If you think this plays out over the next couple of weeks, how bad can it be? Just look at Italy. A whole generation you can only remember. If you looking for me, I'll be quarantined till November. More like December. With this quarantine dream. We spit at a fever pitch. Hack up a lung, $1,000 check to fix it? A beautiful day for a pandemic. Stay home.
Hi, my name is LaTonya Merritt, Queen of Healing Hearts. I will be doing a piece today called COVID-19. COVID-19. We all want it to go away. But the truth is, it may be here to stay. It was always said, here today and gone tomorrow. However, with COVID-19, seems like we're all living in sorrow. COVID-19 has affected different people in different ways. Most people develop these symptoms on their allergy and sinus days. COVID-19. We all want it to go away. But the truth is, it may be here to stay. Some people may be experiencing a lot of aches and pains. I'm getting confused. I remember the old folks experiencing this when their arthritis was inflamed when it rained. They say common symptoms are runny nose, sore throat, and a dry cough. I can't find Benadryl nowhere. The whole country is shut down and everybody is off. COVID-19. We all want it to go away. But the truth is, it may be here to stay. They say most COVID-19 patients seem to be contagious 1 or 2 days before symptoms appear. However, emergency COVID-19 signs are trouble breathing, chest pains, temperature. Now this is when you need a doctor's care. Check this out. I am on the front line. I've been exposed to COVID-19 positive people, yet they say I'm an essential employee. I contact my medical provider. I'm told to isolate myself. I don't qualify, nor do they have enough tests for me. How can this be? COVID-19. We all want it to go away. But the truth is, it may be here to stay. Now they're releasing stimulus packages to low and medium income. The wealthy don't care, while the politicians are playing Russian roulette with COVID-19 in their political game. Meanwhile, the president wants to open up the country while kids are left behind. More people in unemployment poverty lies. Everybody's scared. Doctors are running with time. Nurses and COVID-19 patients are dying. We're out of N95 masks, gloves, and shortage on ventilators while we're trying to make a change. When it's all said and done, for those are left, just know this world will never be the same. COVID-19, we all want it to go away. But the truth is, it may be here to stay. Now they're telling everybody to wash their hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds, or use hand sanitizer with the least 60% alcohol. Now wondering what everybody was doing before COVID-19, or was you washing your hands at all? Although there's no vaccine to prevent this new coronavirus, I advise everybody to take the proper steps to reduce your risk of infection, or we all be living and dying in silence. COVID-19, we all want you to go away. But the truth is, it may be here to stay. So God, if you come to take us back, the world is yours and we're in your hands. So for those who don't have faith, I'm not saying stay woke. I'm saying wake up. And one day you'll understand. COVID-19, we all want it to go away. But the truth is, it may be here to stay. COVID-19, we all want you to go away. But the truth is, it may be here to stay. COVID-19, ladies and gentlemen. COVID-19.
For so long, people have painted a picture of health and refused to analyze the frame it rests in. We'll blame diabetes rates in black people on laziness and not food deserts. We'll connect trauma to bad decisions and not history. So, when COVID-19 begins to kill black people in DC at an alarming rate, I recognize that while this virus is novel, the outcome is not new to us. How racism and riches make a duet out of our tragedy. Again, race and neighborhood are two of the leading predictors of health in DC. So tell me, what do you do when capitalism makes health and wealth the same thing? When somewhere in Northwest there's a white man who can afford insurance and sick leave, and a black man in Southeast who still has to work at the grocery store he shops at, because you can't afford the shelter in place from a respiratory virus when you're choking in debt. Fact, black people work a disproportionate amount of essential jobs, are still expected to clock in to keep the country running, even if it's dangerous, even if their jobs won't provide gloves or masks or hazard pay. But this ain't new to us. The way we keep this country from drowning, we've been essential, whether it was picking cotton or stocking shelves. So, when over 70% of the coronavirus deaths in DC are black, I am not surprised. When the French doctors suggest the cure for corona is using Africans as lab rats, I do not flinch. Instead, I flash the white doctors in Tuskegee experimenting on black men to cure syphilis. Might as well call us Henrietta, the way our community always lacks proper care. So often, we are the heart of the miracle and the first to die. But like I said, this ain't new to us. So we take care of ourselves, of each other. We wash our hands and pray. We stay at home when we can, even when it sucks, when all we want to do is enter the summer in each other's arms. And even though it's hard, it's temporary. Besides, this ain't new to us. Black people been social while distant, been separated by prisons, by plantations, by borders, by bullets, by oceans, by oppressors who believe that the Atlantic can negate our connection. But it's centuries later, and we still connect. We learn to love through bulletproof glass. We write letters and codes. We sing spirituals into the night. We've learned about not being able to stay and still loving someone when you leave. Corona, you're just another barrier that never blocked the way we love. We become social with our media. Can't go to the house party, so we download the app and dance in our own homes. Release the stress through our bones. Create recipes for when we see each other. Because when we see each other, we will cook out until the coals cool, until the sun fades, until this virus is just a memory, just a lesson, just a story of another thing we've overcome.
My name is Christian Sutton. I'm from Washington, D.C. I attend the University of District of Columbia, and I'm a spoken word artist / poet. The piece that I've created that I came to spit for y'all is entitled Public Enemy 19. I hope you like it, I hope you enjoy it, and it goes something like this. How did we get here? Like, really? How do we get here? So we have a virus that was established in overseas that's made its way to the States, ultimately forcing a worldwide shutdown. Clubs, malls, gyms, barbershops, and salons are all on lock. Work and education is shifted remotely, and the government has banned all social activities. So what now? They issue a stay-at-home orders demanding us to stay in from sun up to sundown. But how can we believe anything America says on how to stay safe? When we still have black and brown men getting gunned down, we're witnessing America show no emotion and unfold its true colors. Quick question. Why is this disease mostly affected the underserved, poor people of color? I wonder what the response would be. The majority of people that contracted the virus were identified as white Americans or other. We live in a country that's concerned more about making up for lost profits instead of the rising death toll, massive unemployment rate, and the ones that had hardships before the pandemic occurred but continue to suffer. In the last 2 months, it's been a plethora of misleading information and fake news, biasing accompanying media personalities, misusing their platform, all in the effort just to get views. The more I turn on my TV, the harder it is to watch these so-called leaders act like they know the struggle, but don't even know what it's like to spend a day in our shoes. Like, why does the most apathetic and ingenuine people hold the most power and create all the rules? It's hard to put an end to this illness and make strides towards doing what's right when fast food restaurants are still open, filled with frontline workers, still reporting in, jeopardizing their life. Like, seriously. Really ask yourself, is a paycheck really worth more than your life? Yeah, I know. Those earnings will keep food on the table and pay for those bills and those lights. But just keep in mind that each day that you step out, you're not only compromising your well-being, but also your family and others. So either way, you'll be the one that will be paying the price. It's been a decline in handshakes, daps, and hugs, but a rise in fear, firearms, face masks, and gloves. This social distancing and 6 feet hasn't made things better. Instead, it's damaged and broken the bonds with the ones we love, forced my friends into a lifestyle of liquor and drugs. Yeah, I understand that we're in a state of emergency, but I'm just waiting on the day that this will all be over and we can get back to the way things was. So until then, I'm gonna just continue to pray and keep my faith in the man above. They want us to self-quarantine and shelter in place, but they fail to recognize that we come from households and environments that are broken and isn't as safe. Do you know what it's like to get brutally beaten and treated differently just because of your race? Or tell me, why have we seen more news out on those who have died and less information out on the people who have healed from the case? This system is corrupted and not designed for us to win, survive, or escape. Their goal is to have us divided, silent, and irate, no matter if it's a new world order or global crisis. None of it compares to the day-to-day fight African Americans have to endure and continue to face. Thank you.